November 8th, the big day when it comes to stimulus and a raise to monthly benefits. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. Alright, it all comes down to November 8th. This is an incredibly important day when it comes to stimulus and, of course, a raise to monthly benefits for millions and millions of fixed income beneficiaries, including Social Security, retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, and RRB, as well as any kind of money or programs for the low income, including those people who are seniors, older adults, people with disabilities, and of course everybody else out there right now living close to or below the federal poverty line. I have all the details for you right here in the video, so let's get right into it. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video. As I am your one and only daily advocate, I'm here for you right by your side every single day, watching all this new information, the announcements, the updates, the reports, and everything else hitting the wire, doing all the necessary research and breaking it all down into these short videos so you can stay updated with what is actually going on right now and how it's going to impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, and ultimately I want to point out anything to you that you may be able to grab and or take advantage of, including money, benefits, raises to benefits, programs, checks, stimulus, or anything else right now that you may be able to grab. I want to help you out in any way that I possibly can, as I completely understand money is very tight right now for the vast majority of people, mostly the low income and fixed income. Therefore, I want to help you out, as that's my dedication and my commitment, and I've had that for a very long time now, and as always, I'm sticking to it. Alright, thanks again. Let's jump into it and talk about November 8th and why this is so incredibly important, and make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Alright, so first off, before we get into this, I want to say this much. This is not a political statement, okay? I do not take political sides in my videos. If you've been watching for any length of time now, you know that I like to rip on both sides and all the politicians equally, right? So with that being said, I want to make it very clear I am not taking political sides in this video at all whatsoever. However, I do want to talk about November 8th for just a couple minutes here. November 8th is the key day when the midterm elections will be taking place, okay? Tuesday, November 8th. This is key information here. Now again, I'm not here to tell you to vote. I'm not here to tell you what side to vote for or what to vote on or what to do there. I'm not here to tell you any of that stuff. It is none of my business. I'm not here to tell you that. I am not here to persuade anybody. That is not my objective here. However, I do want to point this out because this is very important. The midterm elections are going to determine what's going on with the House of Representatives and ultimately what goes on with the Senate. Right now, let's remember, Democrats have full control of the House of Representatives, the Senate, and of course, the president, who is Democrat, right? So Democrats have full control of everything. Now, obviously, I have no idea what's going to happen with the midterm elections. I have no clue what's going to happen there, okay? I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have that ability to figure out what's going on into the future, stuff like that, so I don't have a clue. However, I do know this much. Depending on what happens with the chambers, as in the House of Representatives and, of course, the Senate, the presidency is, it just is what it is right now for a few more years. So we're not talking about the presidency right now. We are talking about lawmakers, Congress. When it all comes down to it, virtually Congress has almost just as much power as the president. Now, obviously, the president, has the most power, but the fact of the matter is, most of these pieces of legislation need to go through the congressional process, as in passing through the House, passing through the Senate, and then going on to the president for a signature, right? So when it comes down to it, the chambers, as in the House of Representatives and the Senate, virtually have almost as much power as the president. Now, obviously, the president can sign executive orders in some cases. Not for everything, though. The president cannot sign executive orders for everything. A lot of things do actually need to go through Congress, okay, to get actual, approval rather than getting an executive order. So therefore, Congress is very, very important. Now, I want to point this out for you. We know that some people are going to be changing in Congress. Again, I don't know who, and I don't know, which parties and stuff like that. I don't have a clue what's going to happen there. All that I'm simply saying is that we do know there will be some changes in Congress. The likelihood of every single person that is currently in Congress right now staying there is not happening. We already know that, okay? It's just not going to happen. There's going to be some new people coming in, new representatives, there's going to be some new senators, and maybe the Senate might possibly be flipping in one direction or the other. Now remember, the Senate as of right now has a 50-50 split. There's 50 Republicans, 50 Democrats, but again, Democrats do have a very slight majority simply because of the vice president being Democratic. Therefore, Democrats have a slight margin simply because they can all vote if they want to on one thing. Even though it's a 50-50 tie, if they were to vote on something, the vice president can come in and break that tie, making it 51-50. And that's what we've seen with some of these reconciliation bills over the last couple years here, or the last almost 2 years now, with a couple of the different reconciliation bills. We've seen the vice president come in and cast that last vote to break the tie, okay? So we might be seeing a flip here in the Senate. Actually, in fact, it's pretty likely we're going to see a flip, as in, again, I don't know who's going to take control, but all that we probably know is that there's a high likelihood that there will probably be one side that at least has one more senator than the other, giving them full control without, whatever happens there. So again, just we got to keep that in mind right now, right? So the Senate is likely going to break the 50-50. And again, I have no clue which side will get the extra person or two. And again, it could be, 45-55. It could be 60-40. It could be 52-48. Again, not really sure how it's going to shake out, but we just know the likelihood of it being 50-50 again is probably pretty slim, okay? And again, not really sure who's going to, take control of that. But the fact of the matter is, it's going to come down to a few things here. And this is going to be very, very important. I've mentioned this before in other videos, but I want to say this really quickly here. With the new people coming in, remember, they all have their own agenda. Let's be real with ourselves for a second. All of these lawmakers have their own agenda. If you don't believe me, just listen to them talk. They all talk about something different, right? Now, sometimes we have a group of different lawmakers that kind of, go together and they have somewhat of the same beliefs and the same agenda and the same things that they want to work on. But for the most part, these lawmakers, the representatives and the senators, are working on the behalf of their local areas, right? So wherever they came from. Maybe they came from California. Maybe they came from Texas. Maybe they came from Wyoming. Maybe they came from Iowa or Florida or New Jersey, whatever. Doesn't really matter. But the fact of the matter is, they're mostly working in the best interest of their local area, right? What's going to benefit their local area the most? And again, they're supposed to be working on the behalf of the entire country and all the people collectively in the United States. But again, let's not kid ourselves. We know how this whole thing works. They're going to work in the best interest of themselves and their local areas, stuff like that. But at the same time, in the best interest of the American people is what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be representing us, right? As lawmakers, the 535 lawmakers are supposed to represent us. Can you imagine that? 535 people, less than 600 people, basically control all of us. They control 333 million people. That's sad. I mean, let's just be real for a second. That's just kind of sad, right? That small, teeny tiny group of people get to control all of us. What we do, everything. They get to basically make the calls on everything that we do. So again, just saying, right? And that's not a political statement. It's just the truth. Doesn't matter who the party is. Doesn't matter anything. They make the calls on everything for us. So thank you very much. I love being micromanaged. You know what I mean? I think all of us love being micromanaged. Anyway, so here's what it comes down to. We all know this. When it comes down to Congress, all of these lawmakers, whether it's a senator or representative, they're all going to have different beliefs. They're all going to have a different agenda. They're all going to have different priorities. They're going to have different things that are very hot button issues and or high priority things for them. So remember this as much as well. When it comes down to it, when we continue to see this economy contract in a big way, here's what's going to happen. They're going to need to go to Congress, as in all the lawmakers will come together and say, the economy's, being crushed right now by the Federal Reserve and their interest rate policies. We got to pass a big old package. We're going to call it a relief package. We're going to call it a stimulus package. We're going to call it who knows what, an anti-inflationary package. Give it whatever name you want. It doesn't really matter. You can go back in history and look at all the different packages that they've passed. We've got the American Rescue Plan. We have the Inflation Reduction Act. We have the infrastructure package from last year. We have the CARES Act. Back in 2020, 2020, we had the HEALS Act and the HEROES Act. I mean, seriously. Pick whatever name you want. It simply doesn't matter. They'll come up with some cute name for it. Doesn't really matter what it comes down to. But they'll come up with some package And basically, it'll be hundreds or billions or even trillions of dollars that they will appropriate to bring this economy back. Now remember, all of these lawmakers like to throw their little, nuggets into the package. When we're talking hundreds of billions of dollars or trillions of dollars, who cares? What's an extra 50 million here for that? What's an extra billion there for that? It really doesn't come down, it comes down to a bunch of different things, whereas all these lawmakers throw in all their little agenda items because what's the difference? We're talking about $1 trillion. What's 50 million? 50 million is like a drop in the bucket when it comes down to $1 trillion. It's teeny tiny. It virtually almost doesn't even matter to them, right? So that's why we have to watch all these lawmakers. And again, when it comes down to it, when all of this does happen again, because it's going to happen, when the market rolls over, when this economy gets crushed even further than it already is, they're going to come together and pass another package. They've done it every single time. There's no reason why they would not do it again this next time. So we need to remember too, depending on who the lawmakers are and their beliefs, their priority items, their agenda, what they want to do, maybe remember as well, we have to consider this as well. These lawmakers, in some instances, may be doing things, saying things, and or voting in such a way that is possibly setting them up for future political runs for something like that. So you always got to watch what these people are doing, because a lot of times what they're saying and doing today is likely setting the stage for them in their political future, like years out in the future, right? A lot of times they are proactively talking and acting today in regards to what they may want to do at some point in the future, right? We all know this. We've seen it all happen before. It's no surprise to any of us. It's all just the political games that we see all the time. But the point is, when it comes down to it, November 8th, and who is elected to represent us in Congress, as in the House of Representatives and, of course, the Senate, is ultimately going to make the calls when it comes down to the next packages that they actually approve, and or anything like this when it comes down to stimulus checks, a fourth check, a fifth check, monthly checks, raises to benefits, all kinds of things like this, right? So when it comes down to it, November 8th is an incredibly important time. And again, I want to make it very clear. I am not here to tell you to go out and vote. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. I'm not here to persuade people in any way. That's not my style. I don't like being told what to do. Therefore, I don't want to be that person either for you. I'm just simply laying it all out for you because I want to let you know November 8th will be incredibly important. The midterm elections will shape the future of what happens over the next couple of years here, as this new Congress will be in place, and they're going to be making all the calls for us when it comes down to it, and they got to make the hard calls for us, and they got to pass packages, and they need to make bills, and they need to reform different things. And when it comes down to reforming, Social Security, or raising benefits up to the federal poverty line, or making sure that, older adults, seniors, people with disabilities, fixed income beneficiaries are being looked out for and taken care of right now, it's all going to be coming down to them. The president, in a lot of cases, cannot do executive orders for a lot of this stuff. It has to go through Congress. So realistically, even though the president's position is important because ultimately he has the last say to sign it or not, sign it or veto it, right? At the same time, it's equally as important for Congress to be together on the same page, at least collectively for the majority of them, to come together and agree on some kind of bill or package, ultimately that will be translated into money, benefits, or whatever for the American people. So again, it all comes down to just a handful of lawmakers that literally make the calls for all of us. Again, I don't know. To me, that sounds kind of really sad, right? That just a small collection of people get to tell us what to do. I don't know. It just seems really weird to me. But again, that's what the system is. That's how it's set up right now, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's been like this for a very long time, and it probably will be like this for a very long time. But my point is, November 8th is going to be incredibly important when it comes down to the time when they want to do more stimulus checks or more, monthly payments, universal basic income, guaranteed basic income, raises to benefits, lifting people to the federal poverty line, all these programs for the low income and fixed income. Again, it's all down to Congress. Congress is the one who has the magic wand to basically appropriate all the billions of dollars of taxpayer money. They have the magic wand to spend all of that taxpayer money, and it's all up to them to how they want to spend it, right? They basically have the magical markers that they can say, we're going to send 100 billion here. We're going to spend 50 billion there. We're going to spend $1 trillion there. They get to do that, not us. So anyway, that's what it all comes down to. And whatever happens on November 8th, whatever happens there, I don't have a clue what's going to happen. But whatever happens on November 8th will shape the future for at least the next couple of years. So you can kind of see here, it's kind of important. So anyway, hope this one helps you out to better understand what's going on. Of course, I'm going to continue tracking everything very closely. I'll let you know what's going on. And remember, I want to throw this out there as well. To be completely fair, over the last couple of years here, the Congress that's currently in place has actually passed, quite a bit of stuff for us. Again, I just want to be fair about it because the lawmakers that are in place now have actually passed the 3 stimulus checks, right? The $1,200, the $600, and the $1,400. Yes, both sides, Republicans and Democrats, came together collectively on a bipartisan basis to pass those for us. So again, I'm clearly not taking sides here, right? They've all essentially kind of done something, but at the same time, they've all collectively done the same old nothing, right? So when we look at it both ways, again, I want to be fair, but at the same time, I also want to say they've done virtually nothing at the same time. For the last, year and a half, they've done nothing. Virtually nothing. So we got to keep that in mind as well. Anyway, I'm here for you in any way that I can be. I'm going to continue watching everything closely as I do get more details on anything in regards to money, benefits, raises to benefits, checks, stimulus programs, or anything else like that. Of course, I'm watching it closely and I'll bring it to you right here in these videos. So again, hope this one helps you out to better understand what's going on here and the importance behind November 8th. Do what's best for you. I'm not here to tell you what to do. That is not my job. Again, I just want to be here to inform and again, to be here to help you out in any way that I can, as that is what I'm committed to. And again, as always, I'm going to stick to it. So until next time, please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, please enjoy your day, have a good one, and I'll catch you again later.